governing board meeting was spent on HR matters. The thing has changed now. And for HR to maintain its position in an organization depends upon the quality of the person who is heading the department. In my opinion, it should be purely based on competence. Other factors do not have a place unless you want to see the organization go down. And for the HR person to be very active and be a significant player and earn the respect of the senior management every day, that person has to be a continuing learner, to have an inquiring mind. It is no place for sleepers. Market operations, we are now going global. At one time when I left Hyderabad, way back when very few of you were born, it was a very provincial place. But now it is a very international place. We even have an international airport. At that time it was only Deccan Airways when I left, or maybe Indian Airlines at the most. And where you had to give money under your ticket or something, itinerary, to get the ticket, because only Indian Airlines was there. Now, with all the dozen airlines. So this shows how the times have changed. So from local, we are going global. And from hierarchy, we are going to the networks. Very limited, intermediate and face-to-face and more direct access and virtual relationships. Now even marriages are being considered in the past in heaven, Rishi, but now they are all on virtual things, right? Thanks to the marriage.com and everything. So the modern life has changed. There are no geographical barriers. From obedience to formal authority, it is questioning of formal authority. We say now that why our young people do not have the soft skills. That is one of the shortcomings of our educational system. 40% of the college graduates are unemployable and 70% of the civil engineers are unemployable, according to the Confederation of Indian Industry. Why? Because we, from the childhood, we have been taught to be obedient. In US, it is not the case at all. Questioning of formal authority. Teachers are questioned by sharp students left and right. Those of you who have experience in US education will attest to what I'm saying. So the times are changing, and so about the soft skills matter. People say why they don't have the skills. Well, they have been hammered down from their childhood to obey. But the things are changing thanks to the components of a HR system that is consistent with the organizational structure, strategy, and goal. So what this implies is that the HR person must be an integral part of the senior management decision-making system. The time is coming to India when no CEO will talk to anybody outside without the lawyer next to him. In all major organizations in the US, my lot of time has been spent more in healthcare, but I'm acquainted with other organizations also. The legal counsel's office is in the same suite as the president's office. So what this goes to show is HR should also become that integral part and should not be a second level subsidiary, a support service. And this will only happen when the HR person earns the respect of the people. So it is, again, I will continue repeating it. It is essential that you in HR must be at the top of the game. Now with the convenience of the internet, any article you see, okay, just click it and send it out to the right kind of person, but please make sure that you follow the chain of command and keep your immediate boss informed. There is efficiency, quality, innovation, and responsiveness to the customers. What you have to do with that is to make sure that any memo you send, any proposal you send also has what benefit it will bring to the clientele and how it will benefit the company. Don't just ask, also show what you are asking has a value and a benefit to it. Don't go into the booby trap, landmine of short terms. That is one of the reasons why we had the economic problems that we did worldwide, because all bad things of America come very quickly to the rest of the world. And the stability, the job, the performance evaluation of the CEO depends upon what profit margin the CEO shows in the shortest period of time. And that is being short-sightedness. So one should look, have short-term, if there are going to be problems in the short term, let the senior management know, but you have to look into the long term. It determines the shape of delivery of HR strategies. Concerned with explaining how HR influences the organizational performance. So stay in good books with the management. And those, your other constituencies outside your industry, keep them happy also. Involve those who have expertise in the area. Strategic HR is based on human management principles incorporating the concept of strategy. Now learning has become so easy with the internet. As it was shown, you can find answers to anything you want at the click. In my days, we had to go to the primary source. There was not even a photocopying machine. We have to do, nobody is here of my vintage, we have to do A-B Dick, okay? Round and round and round and things come. But now everything is so instant, so it is so easy for you. I learned a lot of these things the old-fashioned way, okay? By hanging my hair up to the nail on the roof and string. So if I'm falling asleep, it will take the hair out. That's how we used to study in those days, honestly. Cross my heart. That's what we did, because we had to study very hard. We had to do all, I remember doing all the multivariate analysis, chi-squares and everything with the adding machine. The machine goes zing, 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 zing. Now you just do it on a little thing and it happens. So it is so easy for you now to get into the good books of your senior management. Okay, what is the framework? You must have a thorough understanding of the framework. What is the organizational mission, purpose, actions, etc.? You must know that. So, when there is, at the best hospital in America, for example, the Johns Hopkins University Hospital, which has been ranked best consistently, or at the best hospitality chain, most recognized, and Marriott has some of them. We are in Marriott property, which is the Ritz-Carlton.
Personal performance appraisal system going on, right? The HR head gets the budgets from the CEO of the organization and distributes the budget to the various departments or functions in the organization. An institution created to conduct business, right? It could be a group of people who have come together and created a business entity to do some kind of a business. And most of our businesses, if you look at it, they are commercial. Their intent is to make money or create wealth. They are also responsible for producing the product, and so I am the greatest person because without producing, nothing can be sold. Functions. Finance manager says, I am the greatest person in the organization. The marketing person says, all are correct. Do you think they are wrong? No, all are required for the survival of business. Balance. And if you put all the functions, just click once more. If you click all the functions and put them in a simple balance, still HR is much heavier. Organization will not survive without HR. If you just go back. So, if you go back, if you look at the box, I think the greatest function I feel in any organization is HR. And it is the heart of the business.
Already, but to recommend a good salary increase for one of my principals. For some reason, she was not given due salary increase. The results were that 4-year program, the first 3 years university exam, second, third and fourth year 100% pass, in the first year 97% pass. So easy to measure that performance. So I said, under the leadership of this principal, this has been the result. So this principal needs recognition and motivation, and hopefully it will come through. So I spoke with statistics. Sometimes, don't forget, statistics can lie also. So, just use it in a way without getting yourself into trouble. Okay, so like everything, there are barriers. There are barriers to communication, there are barriers to everything. One of the barriers is the short-term mentality. That's why so many CEOs of financial companies, short-term, every quarter they have to give that quarterly report, they want to look good, okay? And the inability of HR to think strategically. That's why I said, get the best person for HR, and you are in HR, so don't try to get a person better than you, but just keep yourself. Okay? I am not available for a job, okay? 4 people will have to take me out of Apollo on their shoulder. Short of that, I am not leaving Apollo. Okay, so inability of HR, so you must be a strategic thinker. Then lack of appreciation for HR can contribute. So opposite of it, contribute. Don't be shy. Okay, I know one of the shortcomings that I have seen, pardon my saying so, that I work with a lot of students. That's my job. They are my bread and butter. So I help prepare their CV. The old HR guy. I knew that this young lady was a topper at my master's program, perfect attendance, mother of 2, okay? Without perfect attendance, just a topper. So I wanted to get her CV for her internship. So I wanted to get some information. Getting her background was like pulling teeth, so difficult. She was ranked 3rd in a class of 150 medical students in Punjab, okay? Outstanding. So don't be shy. And say what you have. So with Indians are so modest about it, that the top level people are modest. Those who are good for nothing, they exaggerate. So don't do that. Just because we are in a highly competitive environment. Then failure to understand line manager's role, difficulty in quantifying many HR outcomes. But there are ways to quantify. There are ways to even quantify the pain, the physical pain, the sacrifices. There are ways to quantify. So if not, find out the ways to quantify. Then perception of human assets as a higher risk investment. So you have to convince that you are getting the best you can. This person was a topper here, was a topper there, he is fresh, he is dedicated to working here, he is not going to work at any other place. So we must hire that person, and I must pay whatever it takes to get that person. That's it. So when you make that kind of bang-on statements, they listen. Because as they say, faint heart never won the fair lady. So you just, even ladies have to go robust. Just as you all do at home. Okay. Incentives for changes that might arise. Then what are the drivers? Increase in educational level. So keep raising the bar. Then keep people informed of the technological developments. Key is be straightforward and frank with your employees, because you must have their trust. They must trust you. Even if it is a bad news, you tell them. Don't pull any surprises. Don't think that you are smarter than the workforce. You may be smarter by compared to them on an individual basis, but in group, they will outsmart you. So keep them posted and be honest. And talk about the new work ethics. Involve them in planning, because what is the cardinal rule of sociology? Involve people who are going to be affected by it. So in this economic problems, if there is going to be a reduction in benefits, reduction in salary, so that no one is laid off, just tell them, this is the situation. We have to reduce salary so that none of you could be laid off. If we have to give you salary increase, that is out of question in this time. Even keep the same salary, somebody, one on your right or on your left or yourself may not be here next week. So please accept. So be straightforward to maintain your confidence with them. Then develop change personnel policies as they come, and make sure that different departments, they all have to have their policies. If you are a regulatory agency, follower, ISO, etc., don't let dust cover the files. Then what are the trends? The policies should be based on trust, equity. People should be motivated. A short word of motivation always helps people. So that's how our chairman, Pratap Reddy sir, motivates people just by his talk, by giving credit to others. We all get charged up and we try to do hard and hard. That's why it is the last name in healthcare in India, with 49 hospitals, 9,000 beds, 65,000 employees in 27 years of existence. The hospital of last resort. Credit to all others, they have got also, no question about that. But it is the largest corporate hospital system in Asia. Why it is? We have very low turnover, except for nurses, that's a different category also. Age and other demands, push and pull factors. So do that. Maintain fair treatment. Treat everybody fairly. And changes are coming. Explain to them what the changes are and the necessity for change and consciousness to quality, because the quality is the key to success. What are the future trends? The management must be more integrated. HR management, I mean. You must learn how to manage talent. I'm forgetting the name of the book, but there is a book on talent management. Okay. Then also look into the concept of succession planning. Very few of the Indian businesses have succession plan. And not many in America do also. So HR outsourcing initiatives will become more focused and selective. So it should be core HR system will focus on master data, which is IS. So have the data. Because people may not like what you say, but if you have it backed with facts, they cannot ignore it. So don't worry whether people like you or not. Okay. And how many of you have heard the name of an American entertainer, Bill Cosby? Anybody? Okay. Thank you. What did Bill Cosby say? Said, very successful entertainer. Okay. Probably 75 years old now, I mean, outstanding. He said, I don't know the key to success, but the key to failure is trying to please everybody. Don't worry about pleasing everybody. Can you please your mother-in-law all the time? No matter what you do, right? She'll always find something. I can say that. She's in heaven. But she was very nice. So, okay, so what are the different levels of integration? People-related business issues and strategies with business strategy. That's where you combine your HR functions with the business strategy. Because if the business is going this way and they are not paying attention to HR, and HR is going this way, the business will not succeed. Then integrating HR with management. So you must be, in cohorts with the management. In the West, we use a different term, but I will abstain from using that term. Okay? Different cultures, sometimes I have to remember, where I am. I could get into trouble, serious trouble. You see, some are Western phrases, right? But they can be misconstrued very differently. If any gentleman wants to ask me after my session. Okay, you see, I know Saudis very well. Okay, I worked for them for 14 continuous years in America and in Saudi Arabia. They still think I work for them. So if somebody asks, that's okay. At least they are thinking about me. 14 years of continuous service for the government of Saudi Arabia, Ministry of Interior, is not a bad record. So somebody who doesn't know says, how well do you know the Saudis? My answer is, I know them so well, I've been in bed with them for 14 years. I mean, that means, you know them well, but that's a Western expression. Holy smokes, if anybody would say that in India, God forbid, I'll ask his forgiveness. Where he's from, Tirupati. Okay, integrating HR function with the business and HR with the business measures. So both business and HR should be in line formation. Then, when do you integrate HR with business? An organization determines its needs for human resources that will meet the business objectives. And then, organization has put in place a governance structure to ensure that stakeholders work together and employees are actively involved in developing and prioritizing human resource strategies. So business functions and HR must be close together. That you will earn the respect of the senior management by being at the top of the game. Because those in finance and other things are more closer. So they like to leave HR a little bit away, but you have to fight your way through your knowledge. Can't do it physically. So just through your knowledge. Okay, there are many other tools where I won't spend too much time, but review the business goals, okay? Getting your priorities right. Then detailed work planning. On the matter of work planning, for any project you want to do, it is perfectly legitimate and expected to spend 10% of the time in planning the project. Those of us who have done research studies, masters and etc., theses, dissertations, whatever you call them here, if you spend more time in planning your project, then you save a lot of time in developing and executing it. So don't go haphazard, spend time planning, and then it is okay to spend 7% of the time in evaluating what you have done. So when you do that, then you know, because somebody says, oh, it was a terrible thing, you say, listen, I did all this study, I evaluated it, and this is what it is, etc. So people, what is it? Then in summary, strategic HR management is a complex process that is concerned with long-term and macro issues of people and business. So it is a complex process. Also because who knows the problems better?
Talk about strategic HR, but I don't see any HR managers become CEOs in India at least.
No, not.
It's a debate.
There are every 2-3 HR man becomes CMD.
Through the county, district supervisors, those kind of people. And one was a very rusty old man. So he would always be negative things. So then what I found was the best thing to do was found out where he hangs out in the evening. It wasn't difficult. We used to go there after meetings in the evening. Board of Supervisors meetings are generally in the evening. So to the Eureka Hotel, to the cocktail lounge there. So then after that I started going there more frequently, and he liked to drink. He got drunk most of the time. So then we will talk things. Next day, a day after, I would go to his office and said, whatever his name, I forget, bless his soul. I said, as you mentioned the other night, it was okay. yeah, Habeeb, yeah, I remember. Yes, sir. So, you said that it was okay. And I'll just make up things, a few negative things that he didn't approve, other things that you said approve. Okay, come to my office tomorrow morning, I'll take care of it.
Informal.
Never forget, you know how to bend elbows? India, where no CEO will talk to anybody outside without the lawyer next to him. In all major organizations in the US, my lot of time has been spent more in healthcare, but I'm acquainted with other organizations also. The legal counsel's office is in the same suite as the president's office. So what this goes to show is HR should also become that integral part and should not be a second level subsidiary, a support service. And this will only happen when the HR person earns the respect of the people. So it is, again, I will continue repeating it. It is essential that you in HR must be at the top of the game. Now with the convenience of the internet, any article you see, okay, just click it and send it off to the right kind of person, but please make sure that you follow the chain of command and keep your immediate boss informed. There is nothing worse than making the end run around your boss. It has never worked. And that's what I advise. I have never done that in my life. So the boss should be the first person, whether you will like that or not, that's another story. But keep your boss man, boss woman in the loop. What more? Development of a HR management system that enhances the efficiency, quality, innovation, and responsiveness to the customer. What you have to do with that is to make sure that any memo you send, any proposal you send also has what benefit it will bring to the clientele and how it will benefit the company. Don't just ask, also show what you are asking has a value and a benefit to it. Look into the long-term issues of it. Don't go into the booby trap, landmine of short terms. That is one of the reasons why we had the economic problems that we did worldwide, because all bad things of America come very quickly to the rest of the world. And the stability, the job, the performance evaluation of the CEO depends upon what profit margin the CEO shows in the shortest period of time. And that is being short-sightedness. So one should look, have short term, if there are going to be problems in the short term, let the senior management know, but you have to look into the long term. Then that can only happen when HR has the confidence. Then overall framework will determine the shape of delivery of HR strategies. Concerned with explaining how HR influences the organizational performance. So stay in good books with the management. And those, your other constituencies outside your industry, keep them happy also. Involve those who have expertise in the area. So in this developing programs, HRD, human development is extremely important. Otherwise, it will happen what happens, as Madam showed, to Kodak and things like that, okay? Be like 3M, the tape, adhesive tape people, Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing, they have 10% of their budget and time of the people dedicated to creativity. Each group does their own. That's how the Scotch tape came out just out of that creativity. While their jobs were others, but they were creative. So that only happens if you will have the confidence. So strategic HR is based on human management principles incorporating the concept of strategy. Now learning has become so easy with the internet. As it was shown, you can find answers to anything you want at the click. In my days, we had to go to the primary source. There was not even a photocopying machine. We have to do, nobody is here of my vintage, we have to do A-B Dick, okay? Round and round and round and things come. But now everything is so instant, so it is so easy for you. I learned a lot of these things the old-fashioned way, okay? By hanging my hair up to the nail on the roof and string. So if I'm falling asleep, it will take the hair out. That's how we used to study in those days, honestly. Trust my heart. That's what we did, because we had to study very hard. We had to do all, I remember doing all the multivariate analysis, chi-squares and everything with the adding machine. The machine goes zing, 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 zing. Now you just do it on a little thing and it happens. So it is so easy for you now to get into the good books of your senior management. Okay, what is the framework? You must have a thorough understanding of the framework. What is the organizational mission, purpose, actions, etc.? You must know that. So, when there is, at the best hospital in America, for example, the Johns Hopkins University Hospital, which has been ranked best consistently, or at the best hospitality chain, most recognized, and Marriott has some of them. We are in Marriott property, which is the Ritz-Carlton. Some of the Ritz hotels are managed by Marriott, okay? Every employee in their pocket has the mission statement of Ritz-Carlton Hotel. Johns Hopkins Hospital, every employee has that, what is the mission, etc. So people should know, every employee must know the mission, the purpose, etc. of your organization. You must do an analysis of the external environment, internal environment, organizational strategy and management strategy, etc. This can only come, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a continuing learner. You should accept learning like breathing, which starts in the cradle and ends in the grave. There is no substitute to lagging behind. And more you learn, the senior management will know that you are reading, reading, reading. I do that at least twice a week to my boss man or boss lady. Just send something so that they know that I am here, I am thinking. Sometimes they'll leave HR alone as if you don't exist. And then other people who happen to be physically close to the senior management, okay, they get into proximity and the frequency theory, how often a day they see them. But you don't have to see them, but just keep sending those things. So that is called the frequency theory. Here is a little complex thing, but let me give you an invitation. The abstract of a presentation that you have, feel free to write to my bright and bushy-eyed associate Sibasis. His email is there. He will send you a soft copy. Okay, thank you. He's keeping me moving, as you can see. So what are the competencies that are required? 5 basic, we talked earlier about what is required. Strategic contribution. So HR should be involved. Don't worry if the executive COO or the CEO don't leave the progress of the organization just in their hands. They are busy men and women. So make them feel good by doing the work for them and giving it to them. And as Indira Gandhi said, she said it much nicely than I can repeat. The line for the people who are taking credit for their work is very long. Go in the line where you give credit to others, that's a very short line. She said it better, but this is what the basic. Don't take credit, believe me, for yourself. Just make your senior management, the boss, look good, and he or she knows who has provided the capability and the resources. Just do that. I have never, believe me, I have never taken credit. I don't remember when I took credit for my work. And I have done that all my life, but now when I come to India, I see my beloved chairman of Apollo, Dr. Pratap Reddy. He visits Hyderabad, frequently, especially on the January, August, and Founders Day, etc. I have never seen that living saint take any credit on himself. He has never done that. He gives all the credit to the people. And when he does that, at least I feel, God, I am not doing enough. It could be a holiday, national holiday, then when some people go home, fair enough. I go back to my office trying to do because I have not lived up to the credit he has given to all employees. He never singles out anybody except nurses. So give credit to others and you will be fine. Then you have to establish personal credibility. Don't swing by the wind. I follow the example. I respect everybody, but I don't fear anybody. From any level, from groundskeeping person up to the chairman, I respect everybody the same as human beings. I make no distinction, stratification of any kind, gender, race, color, anything. I don't, because I grew up with my eyes opening in the US. So I make no distinction in that. So you have to establish personal credibility, and that can only happen when you speak the truth to the best of your ability. Say, I'm only human, but this is what I believe in. In the long run, those who tell the truth will last. I've never been terminated from any job either. So HR delivery, serving internal customers through effective. So I recommend everybody to read Out of Crisis by Edward Deming if you have not done that already. At least his 14 principles. Then technology is multiplying, so stay ahead of the technology as much as you can. I took a short nap and the technology revolution went by. So that's why I have techies and I look after them by feeding him chocolate 2 times a day. I literally do that. And Sibasis says, and this is what I firmly believe in also, he just told this to me a year ago since he joined me. He said, if you pay like a donkey, you work like a donkey. Sir, if you pay like a horse, you run like a horse. So that is his thing. So pay well. What I tell my senior management when I have to hire anybody is, I want to pay what one has to pay to get the best. Because there's a Nigerian saying, translated means, if you bring ants home, with whom shall you dance? You bring your red ants home, okay? Can you stand? No, you'll be dancing with them. So you get good people, then you can relax. See, you see me always relax because I have some good people with me. Okay, then outcome of strategic management. So it is improving performance For that, you have to help the people. You have to conduct programs to keep their skills high. That gives them satisfaction. That gives them ownership of the work they do. Then customer and employee satisfaction, shareholder value, that is very important, and it is done through these steps. What I want to say in this area about increasing performance, a concept which I have at least not come across in India, but it is quite common, at least in the US, which is tuition assistance program. What we do is, if a person, upgrading of knowledge is important. Hopefully your companies are paying for your participation here. So you must encourage employees to attend programs, training programs, if degrees are possible, working toward it, and if they pass, if they complete with a certain performance level, then they will get their tuition money, okay? So that way they will stay with you. That is one of the retention strategies. I don't know how retention strategies are in India, but at least in the US, they spend a lot of money on recruitment, very little on retention. So employees leave. That even in Japan, it is no longer the case when it was a lifelong employment in Japan, even generations through. That is not there either. So you must emphasize the importance. You must do turnover rates. Just keep feeding them. Because as they say, what you cannot measure, you cannot manage. So keep that in mind. Just feed it. Other day I needed to give or recommend.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to India's first corporate news channel. We invite interviews, articles, press releases from your organization. Visit our portal www.indianconventions.com. Thank you.